Guten Tag alle, Herr Wallace hier. Ich hoffe, dass es euch alle gut geht. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to talk about the conjugation of haben und sein, two very important verbs, the basic verbs. When I'm teaching German, these are always the first verbs I teach because they are so important. So we're going to look at them in the imperfect or simple past, as we would say in English. So to say I had, ich hatte, du hattest, you had, hatte, he had, wir hatten, we had, ihr hattet, y'all had, we would say here in the South, and sie hatten, they had, or you formal had. For sein, ich war, I was, du warst, you were, war oder sie war, he was or she was, wir waren, we were, ihr wart, you all were or y'all were, und sie waren. So now we're going to just try a few sentences with this, and I always tell my students, remember when you're translating English from English to German, when you encounter do and did, and normally in English we use do to in a question or did in a question. So do you have? In German they would use, it's more like Old English, which would be more like have you, or did you have is had you when you're formulating the sentence. So what did you have is really was hattest du, or what had you literally. I had a dog, ich hatte einen Hund, and since Hund is a masculine noun and it is performing the role here of the direct object, which makes it accusative, and we are saying a, we're going to change it to einen Hund. What was that? Was war das? Where were you? Wo warst du? Or if you wanted to use the formal you, wo waren sie? He was not old enough. Er war nicht alt genug. Das war nicht gut. That was not good. Did you have a car? It's really formulated like had you a car. So hattest du oder hatten sie ein Auto? And when was the party? Wann war die Party? So again, we are just using here the imperfect tense, just trying to get used to the imperfect and with both sein and with haben. Two very important verbs. Now, I also want to talk to you a little bit about conjunctions here, and we're going to compare them by using subordinating conjunctions das and weil. Das with a double S means that, but used as a conjunction. For example, I know that you can speak German. Weil is because, and it's also a subordinating conjunction in German. Coordinating conjunctions, a couple of these like und, which is and aber, which means but. Okay, so like if you were putting together sentences using, we're going to do these using weil and das, which are two subordinating conjunctions. And if you want a list of all the subordinating conjunctions, we have other videos over that with a more comprehensive list of subordinating conjunctions. So we have two sentences here, ich lerne Deutsch and ich will es lernen. I want to combine them using weil. So I'd say ich lerne Deutsch, weil ich es lernen will. And what happens with subordinating conjunctions when you're writing them, or writing a sentence with one, you want to precede it with a comma in most cases, and then the will, the verb, will go to the end, weil ich es lernen will. Ich weiß, dass du Deutsch gelernt hast. Ich kann nicht gehen, weil ich arbeiten muss. Und hat gelernt, dass Deutsch nicht schwer ist. So here we're just working a little bit with coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. Okay, now we're going to use some more. We were just writing from English to German. I am learning German, and in English this, or rather in German, this is ich lerne Deutsch, weil es geil ist, oder denn es ist geil, if you want to use denn, which is a coordinating conjunction, which also means because. Ich lerne Deutsch, weil es geil ist. I know that you are here. Ich weiß, dass du hier bist. I have learned, ich habe gelernt, dass ein Auto hat. And I will go because I have to go. Ich werde gehen, weil ich muss. Oder weil ich gehen muss. Okay. Could also be an option. Okay, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit, talk about the Präteritum, which is the simple past. This is exactly what we did earlier in this video with haben and sein, but now we're going to talk about forming the simple past with regular weak verbs in German. So for example, here I'm going to take two verbs, lernen and arbeiten, and I'm going to conjugate them in the simple past so that you can see the pattern. I learned is ich lernte. Now, one thing I should say about the Präteritum in German is that this is used more in written German and less in spoken. In spoken German, the past tense they prefer to use is what we would refer to as the perfect tense, or present perfect and past perfect. So, but not to confuse you, ich lernte is I learned, du lerntest, you learned, lernte, he learned, wir lernten, we learned, ihr lerntet, y'all learned, or you all learned, sie lernten, they learned. Now, you can see that it's just ta, test, ta, ten, tet, ten. And this is the case for all regular weak verbs for the most part. So, for example, kaufen, to buy. Ich kaufte. Ich brauchte. Ich machte. Okay? Arbeiten, however, ends in, when you take the en off the infinitive, it ends in a t. When a verb, if you take the en off and the root of the verb ends in a t or a d, you're going to have to add an extra e before you add all these endings. So for arbeiten, ich arbeitete, du arbeitetest, arbeitete means worked. Wir arbeiteten, ihr arbeitetet, sie arbeiteten. And you can see that this sound is really strange. Arbeitete, to test, to. So in spoken German, you can see where they would prefer to say ich habe heute gearbeitet instead of ich arbeitete heute. So, but in written German, you're likely to see this tense. So, ich denke, das war alles, was ich heute sagen wollte. Danke für das Zuschauen. Thanks for watching and listening. Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen.